welcome to another episode of the Get Up Presents the Movie Challenge podcast.
Burr, burr.
I'm your host, JP, along with my co-host, as always,
Chastity.
Merry Christmas, ho, ho, ho. This is our Christmas episode.
Yeah, but Christmas
is already gone. It's been gone for like a week and a half, 2
Yeah.
weeks, right? But this is our Christmas
month
episode.
ago, Dad.
Because all the movies we're going to talk about, except for one, are Christmas movies. Oh, don't do that on the mic. That's horrible.
What, you don't like that?
Okay, don't eat the mic today. Remember, fist away from the mic. There you go.
Oh.
Anyway, we've got quite the episode for you today. Because again, we're going to talk about...
Burr.
No, stop with the Berber stuff. We are going to talk about some Christmas movies. There may be some spoiler alerts because we're going to talk about some newer movies such as Violent Night and Spirited. If you haven't seen that one yet either, Chassa didn't want to talk about it, but we're going to do it anyway.
Oh, you're so mean.
We're going to do it anyway.
So are we not going to talk about the other one?
No, we're going to talk about all of them.
Okay.
All right, so let's get right into it, right? It is no longer Christmas at the time that we're recording this, but for Christmas, we always have here in our household a tradition of watching
Christmas
screwed
movies.
up Christmas movies.
Yeah.
We don't watch the traditional, right? We don't do like It's a
No.
Wonderful Life and stuff like that.
For the Christmas movies we watch like horror Christmas movies.
Yeah, so it started.
Murder.
It started with Krampus, right? So when Krampus came out,
I love Krampus.
that was the one that really kind of kicked it off. So we'll start with Krampus. Okay. So Krampus came out in 2015. It was rated PG-13. It's 1 hour and 38 minutes long, and it's about a boy who has a bad Christmas accidentally summons a festive demon to his family home. It was directed by Michael Dougherty, who was also behind a bunch of movies. Actually, he did. He wrote and directed Trick or Treat and a bunch of other stuff. When we dug into his filmography when we were watching this, he's done a bunch of movies that we liked. Writers were Todd Casey, Michael Dougherty, and Zach Shields. It stars Adam Scott, Toni Collette, David Koechner, and a couple other people you might recognize, right? But ultimately, it's the story of Krampus, and Krampus is the anti-Santa Claus. So where Santa Claus comes and brings presents for all the good boys and girls,
Krampus just kills you.
Krampus comes and takes away the bad boys and girls. He punishes you for not believing in Christmas and not being good people.
Well, and remember, when you stop, you just stop believing Christmas. It's not stop believing in Santa. It's you just stop believing in Christmas.
Right.
The grandma stopped.
And the spirit of Christmas.
Yeah.
Right. So Chas, what do you think of Krampus?
Already know.
Are you going to give this one a 10 out of 10?
You're going to give it a 9.
I am going to give it a 9.
I know you're going to.
But I do love this movie because it's fun. It's got humor, and it's freaky enough. It's not quite scary, but it's freaky enough to be imagine if you were in that position.
Well, guess what I'm going to give it?
What are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it a 9.
You're going to give it a 9 too, just because I said it right?
9.5.
Get the hell out of here! I told you no half scores.
No, it's a 9.5. It's actually a really good movie.
So what do you love about it?
I love Krampus. Screw Santa. I got myself a Krampus. Because he seems funner. He's not holly jolly. He's just...
So describing
mean.
Krampus, right? He's got goat hooves.
He has goat hooves.
With crazy horns.
He has big horns. He has really long nails. And he's really...
chains and stuff.
But his fingers are really long. His mouth is open. And he has really long tongue. And he looks like his eyes are just all black. And he's just an old... He's like Santa.
He looks like Santa,
but
like
twisted.
a twisted Santa.
He just got screwed up on something. And
now, one of the crazier parts, right, is the monsters that Krampus sends after you. So, he sends So let's go. Let's backtrack, right? Let's start off with what happens in the movie a little bit.
So the boy he wrote a little Christmas note for him because his family was coming for Christmas from both sides. Wait, was it?
Well, no, it was his mom's
No, his
side.
mom's side.
His mom's side.
And the family, it's basically the family can't family.
So the family can't family.
Yeah.
So it's the aunt, uncle, 2 daughters.
No, 3 daughters.
Two older daughters.
Yeah.
Oh, well, 3 if you count the baby.
Yeah, the
right?
baby's a
3
daughter.
older daughters, and then their son, and then their dog.
And then they have a daughter.
And their family, the aunt and uncle in their family is the stereotypical redneck, gun-loving,
crazy people.
A shepherd has to tend his flock.
That was so cringy. I was like,
kind of people, right? Where like the daughters are wrestlers, and he's trying to bulk his son up to be a football player by high school. And they burp and they're rude and they're crass. Like that's this family. While the main character's family is like, what did the aunt say? So the great aunt comes over too, and she's like, "Oh my God, it looks like Martha Stewart threw up in here." Right?
I like her.
So there's also the drunk or the alcoholic great aunt shows up, but the mom and the dad and the brother and sister are like,
they're just like normal people.
They're more like your middle upper class family. The mom cooks all kinds of different kind of food instead of like a traditional Christmas. She's making like different unique things.
That one thing she was making.
Which one?
The dessert.
The dessert?
I would try that.
Oh yeah, creme brulee. That's good.
It looked good. I was like,
yeah, creme brulee is good stuff.
They complaining about nothing.
Yeah.
But so the kid writes a note to Santa, and the note was all really sweet about how he wants Christmas to be like it used to. Why do you keep looking at my cup?
I'm not.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at you.
Keep going like this.
Continue your story.
And then they bully him. The other girls, the
cousins.
Yeah, they bully him on it, and then he gets upset and he starts saying about how he wishes Christmas was back to how it was, and then he goes upstairs. His dad talks to him. All the crap goes down, and then he rips up the note and he throws it out the window. And that's when an instant storm just came rolling over the house. I was like, oh, screwed.
Now, funny enough, the night before we watched Krampus, a crazy storm like that came through here.
Yeah, so no, it was the night we watched Krampus.
Chas was like, this is a Krampus storm.
Yeah. And I was like, if some snowman pops up outside this window, I'm done.
So, and that was like weird stuff started happening right away, right? Mm-hmm. So like the power went out, the phones weren't working, and then there was like a strange snowman that showed up in the front yard out of nowhere, and they're like, well, who made the snowman? Yeah. And the kid was kind of calling it out.
The snowman showed up after the daughter went out to go see her boyfriend. It showed up after her boyfriend.
Because she went out that night of the storm.
And it showed a snowman for every time someone was dead.
So the sister went out to go to her boyfriend's house,
which was
when the storm first started.
So my question is, really dumb. What parent? Well, we'll get to that one.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah, it shows up after because the mom was sitting at the by the window, and the mom was sitting there, and then the brother was looking out a different window, and so the dad walks over because the dad was behind the mom.
I don't know about that because So you're saying that, man, this sucks because we just watched it like not that long ago and I already can't remember. So you're saying that the snowman came after because remember the daughter goes out and then she doesn't come home, so then they go out and he gets bit and attacked and all that crazy stuff happens. That was the next. I don't know. Maybe it was. Yeah, because he was like, what?
Yeah, it was earlier in the morning.
No, I feel like I can't remember.
God, you're such a turd.
Maybe you're right. Anyway,
maybe I know it.
Period. The daughter goes out. She gets eaten.
Period.
And what's crazy is like the monsters are like twists on toys. Like one's a teddy bear, one's a Jack in the Box.
Yeah, but that's some big Jack in the Box.
And then it like eats her under a car.
It has a little box for his humongous face.
And she when she's walking out, she sees Krampus on the houses, and he's like running and jumping from houses and stuff, and she's freaking out.
She hides under a car. Under a car.
Yeah.
Like he can just. That was a big Santa Claus.
Now
he can
what was
crazy
crap. Is like the. When the dad and the uncle go out looking for her and they go into other houses, like those other houses are totaled. Like Krampus killed everybody.
Yeah,
like the monsters got everyone. Mm-hmm. And then they were just like coming for this family.
I want to know what was under the snow.
It doesn't matter at this point. It was something under the snow, some kind of
snow
worm.
A bunch of all these toys came after them, a robot, all this stuff. And the grandma knew about Krampus. She actually went through the same thing, but
when she was a little kid,
she wished that her parents would go away. So Krampus came because she lost her spirit for it, and she burned her little Santa Claus.
Her whole village lost the spirit.
Yeah, and so and their whole village probably did too. So so Krampus came and took away her parents, but left her, and he gave her the spell. And Krampus gives you a choice to live or go with your family. And Grandma played a smart move, and she said, "I'm gonna live. good on her. Because someone made a stupid move.
I'm looking at the trailer.
Are you really?
You're wrong.
I am wrong?
Yeah.
Well, then...
So, because the family showed up at night, and the girl didn't go out at night. Remember, she was talking to her boyfriend that night. The girl went out the next day during the storm, and the first snowman was already there.
Maybe that was her boyfriend.
And then she went out. Then she went out in the blizzard.
I think it was a snowman for everyone who died. Like all the neighbors.
It did seem like that because remember, like
more
when
and more showed, and then when Howie died,
right,
he had
son,
a snowman,
not the main son, the cousin son. When the cousin,
he was
the boy cousin,
he was just there.
Yeah, he was pretty. So anyway, so the next day, weird stuff starts happening. There's a package gets delivered, and then there's a bag full of gifts that they bring into. And then the daughter wants to go visit her boyfriend because he's not answering his phone. So she leaves, and it's like this blizzard.
Just crap just went down. And in the end, everyone goes out besides the boy that wished.
But even in the end, he does too.
Yeah, but hold on. So he wished that everyone go away, like the family. He wished that the family go away. But in the end, everyone goes out and he was left. Krampus went up to him and dropped him a bell in the snow. The same bell that his grandma got, but different date and crap.
In the grandma, right, when she was a kid and like living in Germany or wherever she lived.
Germany, because she was German.
She was German. Her village, she was talking about how things were so bad and everyone in the whole town lost a Christmas spirit. And her parents fought and were so mean. You told part of it. And she wished that they were gone. So that night, Krampus came down the chimney.
I said that
and took her parents and then gave her the.
I told them that they
gave her the ornament.
That Krampus.
I know you did, but I was completing the story. And then Krampus basically was like, "You got what you asked for."
Yeah.
And gave her this Christmas ornament,
as a reminder.
Right? This Christmas ornament bell.
A reminder, as sucker, I'll let you live.
Right. And so she starts seeing this stuff happen,
and
knew. Like the whole time she's kind of being cryptic,
and
she's like, "Just keep the fire hot. Just keep the fire hot."
Because that's how he comes in.
Because he comes down the chimney
through the door or through the attic or anything. It's always the chimney, like Santa Claus.
So the next day there's the snowman. The sister goes out.
Yeah, blah blah blah.
They get this bag of gifts. The dad and the uncle go out looking for the daughter because she doesn't come back, and they go out like in his Hummer, and he's like, "Oh, Lucille or whatever the
Lucille.
What was
it's Lucille.
Was that the car's name? Like it'll get through anything. I could drive across the Atlantic Ocean and be in Normandy by tomorrow, and like all this goofy stuff, right? The big macho man. And then he's like, "I'd never go anywhere without my guns," and stuff like that. And then they go to the boyfriend's house, and the boyfriend's house is trashed. They find the delivery vehicle is trashed, and it looks like something pulled the guy out of the car.
Is trash.
And then
everything is screwed.
His Hummer gets all destroyed. And then something comes underneath the snow like a snow worm and
grabs
attacks him.
The uncle and
bites him and stuff, right? And so they shoot it and they come back, and the people can hear the gunshots.
Yeah, so they start boarding everything up. Gingerbreads came, and that was a funny part.
Well, so the gingerbreads came at the same time that they were upstairs
looking for the girls.
So
they went to go pee.
They go look for the cousin, the daughter cousins, like the
they
girl
went up.
cousins.
So they went up there. One of them went up there with the other one to go pee.
Right, and
but
then they heard
they heard her, which sounded nothing like her.
They heard
up
the
in the
daughter
air.
that was gone.
It sounded like a way squeakier. It sounded nothing like. It sounded
anyway.
Nothing
They
like her.
heard their cousin. They heard
her.
the main family's daughter, who was the one that was missing. They heard her like, "Hey guys, come up to the attic."
They're like, "What are you doing up there?"
What are you doing up there?
Listen, if I heard that, I would not go.
Right. So then everyone starts hearing like thumps, and they're like, "Where's the girls?" And they go run up there, and it's these toys. There was a robot toy. There was like the Christmas angel tree topper, but it came to life. And then there was it
was a doll, but it was like an angel doll.
Right. There was the
stuffed bear robot, and then the
Jack in the Box thing that already ate the sister.
Ate one sister. I think he ate the other one. But couldn't fit
that was the one that ate the sister underneath the car too.
So I don't think it could fit the other sister because it spit out
I don't know.
Because the other sister was full of drool, but it didn't. But she was.
So the parents all start fighting these things.
Yeah, and then the other.
And then meanwhile, the uncle's downstairs.
I'm gonna let you explain that.
No, go ahead. Meanwhile, the uncle's downstairs, and this is Chas's favorite part.
He heard something in the kitchen, so he went in the kitchen. And he tried to get the dog, Rosie, to go. She said no, and she walked away. Dog said, and then walked away. And then he went in, and these gingerbreads come out and he starts fighting them, and they're shooting a nail gun at him. And so he's holding a chopping board as they're shooting at him. and then he shoots a lantern, lights them on fire, and then he's shooting them, and then he runs out of bullets, and one's coming at him with a knife. And
it's like jumping through the air, and it's like slow-mo, like,
and then the dog eats it.
And
it's just sitting there, he's like, oh, I love you.
Yeah, but it was pretty funny. And like they foreshadowed it because in the boyfriend's house when they went to go look for the daughter, there was a gingerbread cookie stabbed into the fridge door. So like other families were fighting back against these things too, but they were unsuccessful.
But again, as the story goes on, everyone gets taken. Grandma sacrifices herself. She wanted to face Krampus again.
Right.
Because Krampus like...
She gives him back her
Yeah, Krampus like, girly pop.
Her ornament.
Krampus like, girly pop, I gave you a time to go.
And then Krampus.
This is what you did. So Krampus just took her. And then took everyone else.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, the elves were like, the elves showed up and started, like, roping up. They took the baby. Oh, but it was kind of funny how they took what was his name? Howie. It was funny how they took Howie. So everyone's sleeping in the living room, and the fire starts kind of going out because everyone fell asleep. And then here comes a chain down
the goddamn chimney.
Down the chimney with a gingerbread cookie on it.
And the kid says, oh, guess what?
And then it's like jingling, and it's like...
It's like luring the fat kid.
Yeah,
I was like, dang.
It was totally luring the fat kid. And then he gets up and he goes to get it, and then it ties the chain around him and drags him up, and they're fighting it, trying to pull him back down. Like it was pretty
for me.
funny.
It's okay. We're gonna get to where I get to complain about stuff, but so near the end, everyone again, like I said, everyone just gets wiped out. Okay, dad sacrifices himself.
Just don't knock over your water.
So does the mom. So
That's
does the aunt.
That's really why I was looking at it.
So does the aunt and everyone else. They all they're out.
Yeah, everybody.
And
except
he's
for
left,
the last
and Krampus is in front of him and gives him a bell, and the boy picks it up, and Krampus leaves. Yeah. No problem. Just says,
leaves with the last cousin because they were like they were dangling over the portal to hell. Basically,
that was loud. The elves took the last cousin, but he decided to be a dummy and follow them.
He tried to be a hero.
I would have took that chance from him. I know you would want me to live, and those cousins were buttholes anyway. Just saying. So he follows them. He's like, "Hey, I want my family back." And so then Krampus had like this, because he's like, take me and not them. And then Krampus has this little moment where he tells the elves to stop, and he like, the kid crying.
Cries,
and hold on, he takes his finger and he wipes the tear. And then he starts laughing, and all the elves start laughing, and the animals start butting heads, and he just goes, and they throw her in. It was like, he's like, oh, I'm going to be all wholesome. Psych.
It was totally like,
I was like, yeah, Krampus.
Oh, poor boy, you're crying.
And then guess what
Never
Krampus
mind.
did? And then Krampus just picked him up and
by the head.
Yeah, and he picked him up by the back of the hoodie.
I thought it was he picked him
and
up. And
throws him in, and
he goes into the
in
house.
the end, he wakes up. The kid wakes up, and you're like, oh, was it all a dream? No, it wasn't. So they go back down. They open up presents.
Well, he gets up and he goes downstairs, and his whole family's
there, and they're all acting
happy.
Nice, and then they open up presents, and he opens up his present,
and they all are getting their presents, like all these presents that they like.
In the newspaper, and he opens it up. It's the bell, and everyone saw it, and everyone
looks at the ornament.
Yeah, and everyone just realizes.
And then it zooms out
to Krampus's
and it zooms out even farther, and then it turns out that it's their house inside a snow globe,
and there's a bunch of other snow globes. Now let's get to the part where I can complain. Okay.
So, what did you like about the movie? That was like a synopsis of the story. What did you like?
I liked the concept. I like how they, I know Krampus was already original, like story of like a demon Santa that would come if you're a sucker, and and I like that idea of that that legend, which I think is cool. I still have the spirit.
I wanted to get one of those ornaments for our tree.
You know what? That'd be smart. Because
be cool.
I would show Krampus like, you gave me a chance. You can't take me. I'm good.
So, and to give some context, we've been watching this movie every Christmas Eve since like it came out.
I love it still, and I like the way they set it up. The CGI, like the gingerbreads, the way they made them.
Yeah,
it looked good, and even like the live dolls and that crap, it looked good. It was pretty good, and Krampus, he looked good himself. I want to know who played this or. Because I'd be scarred for life.
It looked like it was like a big puppet and stuff.
Yeah, it probably was a big puppet.
That teddy bear looks so cool.
Does it? But it was really good. I can't complain like if anything was bad. I like to complain about how stupid the characters are. kind of like in horror movies. And that's kind of what it is. I feel like I can't hear anything in this ear.
In that ear?
Yeah, I can only hear in this ear. But whatever.
Did you break my headphones when you were messing around with them?
No. Don't look. They look like you're hissing like
You might
Spider.
have-
You look like Spider right there. You
might
look
have
like you're hissing
You might
like
have unplugged
Spider.
the phone under the table.
You
I'll
look-
mess with it later. Under the table. No.
No, I'm trying to push it. That one plug was kind of coming out.
Yeah, no, underneath here is where the
What
hub
I'm
is.
saying. Let's talk about the daughter.
Okay.
How stupid the parents were. They let their daughter go out in a blizzard.
Yeah, that was really
no
dumb.
problem.
I'm sorry, I'm not letting my teenager daughter go out in this crazy ass blizzard.
Thing with me, I wouldn't even want to
They're
go.
like, they couldn't even see the house across the street.
Yeah, they
There's
couldn't
no
see
way
nothing.
I'm letting my daughter walk
yeah, and
blocks to her boyfriend's house.
I wouldn't even go anyway. I'd be like, that's his problem. I can FaceTime him later when my power's back on. It was never gonna come back on, but still, I wouldn't have gone anyway. And I found it so stupid that when they went in that house, they were acted so chill until they saw hooves. They saw a gingerbread knife and a thing. They're like, who?
They were like,
who would do that?
the,
and then they continued to walk around.
the fireplace was all like exploded. They're like, must have been a gas leak.
And then they looked down and saw the hooves. Then they're like,
What kind of animal has hooves? Yeah. What kind of hooved animal walks on two legs?
yeah, but so that was stupid. Then let's talk about where the girls go upstairs.
Eating the microphone.
Let's talk about the girls when they go upstairs
Okay.
to go pee. Okay?
Okay.
They went upstairs to go pee, but the other one didn't want to go by herself. So the other cousin went with her. Okay? And then they, as they're going to the bathroom, they hear the, what was that? The main character's sister's voice. She's up there, but the thing is, it sounded nothing like her. And the thing with me is that how would she be in the house if we saw her leave? There's no back door, what I know of. And also, I wouldn't go up there anyway, because those kids watch horror movies. I would be, nope, I'm going back down, tell the adults. I ain't going up there by myself.
Yeah, definitely not going up in the attic.
Yeah, the attic too, after all this creepy
I'm
crap.
staying out of attics.
After this creepy crap,
I don't do attics.
I don't do attics either. You can go up there by yourself.
It's hard enough with basements.
Yeah. I run up the basement stairs.
know
Lights
you do.
on or off. Doesn't matter. I'm
Lights
flying.
off. What kind of crazy world you trying to live in?
I have done that before. Have you ever walked down the basement stairs like you want to face your demons? Like I remember one time I was like, there ain't no demons. Just go down. And I went down there, and as soon as I reached the bottom, ding, I just turned it on. I was like, yeah. But when I went back up, I ran. Because I'm always afraid someone's going to grab me. I'm going, oh.
My bedroom used to be in the basement when I was growing up.
Oh, that's some psycho crap.
There was it was like the master bedroom, and it had its own bathroom and everything in the basement. But I would turn on when I would come down the stairs, I'd have the lights on, and then we had a living room down there. And I would walk to the living room, and I'd turn that on, and then I'd walk to my bedroom, and I'd turn those on, and then I'd go to the stairs, and I'd be like, 1, 2, 3, boom, smack the lights, and I'd be running full speed to my room, and on my way to my room, I'd hit the other switch, and be like, whoa, close my door.
Yeah, no, and even whenever I turn the light off over there by the laundry room, I turn it off. But when I turn it off, I always turn behind me and walk backwards. Cause
Mom,
you ain't gonna
Mom
get
doesn't
me.
like this basement.
I was like, you ain't gonna get me. Because there's a lot of holes in the walls.
What?
Well, under the stairs, there's no wall there. And by the laundry thing, I'm almost afraid someone's gonna come through the crack and just.
Nothing's gonna come through no cracks.
You don't know that.
Yeah,
You don't know that.
I do. It doesn't help that they painted the back wall black.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that makes it even more scarier in the dark because you're like, is it an endless void? Okay, back to what you're talking about. So, attics, no. That was stupid of them. Then let's talk about how stupid the kid was in the end, okay? Krampus gave that kid a chance. And Grandma told me the whole story. And if he gave me that chance, Belle, like you guys always tell me, you always say, if one of us died, why don't you live your life?
No, I said I would save you over Mom.
Yeah.
Because we've lived our lives and you're still a kid, so
Yeah, and I understand that, and I would probably do the same if I have a kid, Probably.
You better hope none of if you ever have children that they don't hear this.
Maybe.
They're gonna be like, Mom, you said maybe. You said maybe.
And they would, but when I would get that bell, I would take that as a sign, as Krampus saying, I'm gonna spare you this one time. I'm gonna spare you this one time, sir. So it's this is your ticket on the life train.
If you want to lean forward, just push the microphone forward.
This is your ticket.
Push the microphone forward.
This is your ticket on the life train. And I'm gonna be honest, my family wasn't that nice. I'll be like, yeah, cousins, Who gets to live now? You wanna
You're so petty. You're so petty.
I'm petty.
So-
Guess who gets the last laugh or the last tear?
These are the things that I liked. I like the story.
Yeah.
I like the humor. I like the, like I said, it was a good balance of like, it wasn't like super scary. It was enough to be kind of creepy.
Yeah, it was
and
kinda
then
creepy,
like,
not scary.
but then it infused it with like horror. So it was kind of like Gremlins, right? Like where it was kind of like funny, scary. That's what I would kind of relate it to, like that genre of movie. So if you like Gremlins, you would like
think
Krampus.
Gremlins is scary? Because I feel like Gremlins was just like a funny comedy movie. I never thought it was
No,
scary.
but I mean, it's supposed to be kind of funny, scary.
Oh, I didn't think it was
the first
scary.
Gremlins.
I never
at least.
thought
The
it was
second
scary.
one was a little more goofy.
I liked
the
the
first one
Gremlins.
was more serious.
The Gremlins was
So
a good movie.
not just that, like it had the humor there, but it also like obviously there's some messaging there about like, you know, love your family and like at one point after they read the son's Christmas letter out teasing him and stuff, and he's going upstairs and he cries and the dad comes up there and he's like, hey, can I talk to you? And he's like, why do we even have to have them come over here? They're stupid anyway. And he's like, you know, Christmas is about like family, and it means even spending time sometimes with family that you don't like or you don't get along with, and maybe that makes us better people in the end because you learn to like set aside your differences and stuff like that. So like there's a message there, but then there's also the message at the end where the kid's like, no, I take it all back.
You can't take that
And
crap back.
Krampus laughs at him because
Krampus like,
in life you can make decisions and there is no redo. There is no undo it.
Krampus is just basically life.
Right,
Krampus
yeah.
saying, you just screwed yourself. I know
Right.
I'm going to screw you even more.
You asked for
Boom.
this. You got what
Your
you
fault,
asked for.
and he fell in the
and he
pit
didn't
of
like
death.
it. Right. He got what he asked for. But Krampus still gave him what he asked for in the end.
Yeah.
Because in the end, he was like, I take it all back. I just want my family back. And he got his family back.
But he just has to relive the
forever
same day
in the snow
over and
globe.
over and over again, which would be annoying for me. But that also reminded me, like, what happens if I can do like every day different? Like, imagine you have like a crazy, like, you can relive your life over and over every day's the same day. I would, if I had a superpower, I want that power. Like, I can turn it off and on because I would be a butthole in one day, and they screw everything up. I'd probably light a place on fire if I wanted to. Just have fun. That sounds psycho. Just have fun. But, you know, like if I had that power.
There's a movie you should watch called...
Isn't it like a scary movie where...
No. It's about that. It's where they get stuck in a time loop. Mm-hmm. I'll look it up.
Oh, and then he has to fix it, and but he has to do
they
something.
try to get out, but they do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like they go crazy and they do all kinds of stuff. Because
Yeah.
they look for all these different ways to kill themselves because they can't die because they're stuck in a time loop.
Yeah, so that's what I would kind of
It's a funny movie. I'll
I
show
would
it
just
to you.
kind of, you know, push the limits of reality if I had that kind of thing. I'd just be like, wee!
So that's Krampus.
that's
9 out of
Krampus.
10. And 9 out of 10.
9.5.
It's definitely worth a watch. And it's one of our Christmas traditions. We're a
9.5.
little. Quit eating the microphone.
9.5.
Oh my God! Put your mouth away from the microphone.
9.5.
So it's definitely worth a watch, and it's one of our favorite family movies, as twisted as that is. Next up, we have Fatman. Fatman came out in 2020. It's rated R. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. It's about a rowdy, unorthodox Santa Claus who's fighting to save his declining business. Meanwhile, Billy, a neglected and precocious 12-year-old, hires a hitman to kill Santa after receiving a lump of coal in his stocking. It was directed by Isham Nelms and Ian Nelms. It was written by both of them, and it stars Mel Gibson, Walter Goggins, and Marianne Jean Baptiste. This movie. Okay, put Ash down.
Hold
Come on,
on.
focus. Put Ash
Look
down.
what he's doing.
I know. Quit making Ash do breakdancing.
Go.
All right, Ash Williams doesn't want to break dance.
Yes, he does.
He's got to fight deadites.
He's a cool
Anyway,
guy.
so, Fatman, like first, Mel Gibson plays actually a pretty good Santa Claus.
He does.
A pretty good delusional one. Now, Chastity did not want to
didn't wanna
watch this
watch it at
movie.
all. No?
She didn't want to watch it, so it came out in 2020, and I'm pretty sure.
It came out in 2020?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
That seemed like it would come in 2018 or something.
No, so we got it. We bought it when it first came out. So it's one that I've watched every Christmas since then. Stop it. She is looking for like every way to make noises. I'm sorry if you can hear these noises. She's just looking for every way. Anyway,
Burr.
so it was cool because it's a different play on Santa. He's not jolly. He drinks and he's just disillusioned. He's like, these kids are beating each other up and killing each other, and there's no more good kids and stuff, So he's just kind of real disillusioned by Christmas. He's saying, like, at one point he's like, I failed, right? And then there's this spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid, he's got like rich parents that are never around, and it's just him and his grandma.
Trying to kill his grandma?
Yeah, he does try to kill his grandma, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's some psycho crap.
But that was at the very end.
Yeah.
He loses a science fair. He has this hitman played by Walter Goggins, which he does a great job.
He does a great job. His eyes are a little weird.
Kidnaps this girl that won the science fair, like almost electrocutes her to like bully her into giving up and saying that she cheated. So then he wins.
Yeah.
And
that's just you call
so
me
then on
petty.
Christmas he's like, yeah, I'm gonna open up my presents, and he gets one from Santa and he opens it up
and
it's a piece of coal. And then he does like the dramatic, he runs outside in the snow in his pajamas, and he slides on the snow and he's like, you messed up big time, Fatman. I'm watching that scene right now. Ah! And he holds the coal up to the sky and stuff. So he calls the hitman to kill Santa. And now,
I like how the hitman had him marked as little crab on his...
He did. Little shit.
Yeah.
Now, there's an interesting twist to this. The hitman already wants to kill Santa because when the hitman was a kid, Santa only gave him one car for a gift that he wanted, and then never gave him a gift after that. And he had like an abusive father, because like at one point he shows his arms and he's like, I used to get hot cigarettes put out on my arm for Christmas and stuff like that. So he's got it out for Santa, and what he does is he buys gifts from kids that came from Santa, because there's always like a tag on it that says like made in Santa's workshop. Yeah. So like he's like a collector
of Santa's things, of what his elves made from his workshop, and he collects them, probably hoping to kill the jolly old fat man.
So then when the kid asks him, he's like, I feel like this would be right up your alley, and he's like, oh, for sure, I'll do it. So then he has to figure out where Santa is.
Which was the hard part, but he figured it out.
Right, how did he figure it out?
I don't know how, well, I remember how he figured it out, but it's hard to explain. So he basically did a lot of research, and then he called someone, and then they hung up on him because they knew about Santa Claus, but was protecting his
But he went to the
identity.
post office, right? Because he's like, Santa gets all this mail. So he went to, he found a postman that was
But they had
delivering
to
mail.
go to the north, to a
But it wasn't
place.
really the North Pole.
But it was called the North something.
North Peak.
Yeah, North Peak. So that's where he...
So meanwhile, right, Santa's business is kind of dropping because all these kids are horrible. But the government relies on Santa, so he gets a subsidy from the government. He gets paid from the government because the government relies on him to kind of stoke, the biggest sales day of the year. So like, or the biggest sales season of the year. So they need Santa to kind of keep that going because he kind of stimulates the economy. Meanwhile, like, people shoot at his sleigh, like he gets shot and stuff, and he eventually heals up. But he has his whole little workshop of elves, and the government, like, his subsidy check comes and it's less than what it normally is. And they're like, well, you produce less than you normally do. And he's like, it's not my fault the kids are horrible shits. Yeah. And so then the government's like, hey, well, we got a deal for you. You make control consoles for our fighter jets because your elves are so crazy. Yeah, because your elves are so crazy efficient.
And they ate a crazy diet. And I remember one of the sergeants like, what are you doing?
So in the end, right, the hitman does make it there. He takes out like all the army guys, and then he gets in a gunfight with Santa. And it's funny because Santa's like, you think you're the first one to come for me? You think I got this job because I'm just fat and jolly?
And Santa got shot in the head.
Yeah,
right in the eye.
He smoked Santa right in the eye.
But he lived.
Because he's magic.
Because he has magic. And his eye was coming back. I was like,
Santa
God dang.
So then what's cool is Santa, he has a change of heart. But his change of heart is, maybe I've been sitting on the sidelines too long and just letting these things happen. So now I'm going to be proactive. So then he shows up at that kid's house, and the kid was about to try to kill his grandma by giving her a bunch of like drugs in her milk.
It was her medication.
And he shows up and he just drinks it. And then he's like, if you do anything, you mess with anyone, you end up on my naughty list at all, and I will be back. And I can't remember what threat he makes, but he threatens the kid, and then he like lifts up his eye patch, and he's like, "The fat man's got his eye on you, kid."
Yeah, his eye was like growing back. I was like, "Dang, Santa!"
It was pretty gnarly.
Santa.
But to me, it's a
good movie. I'd probably get it an 8.
It's fun movie. I would say 8 too.
8.5.
It's not as good as Krampus, but it is definitely a fun movie, and I
watched it again.
I liked how they did Santa as kind of a realistic character, besides the like whole magical healing thing.
Yeah.
You know, he's on hard times. They're struggling to keep the factory going. You know, he's disillusioned by everything. So I liked how they made it like a down to earth kind of Santa Claus. And Mel Gibson, I thought, played him very well.
Yeah, no,
what did you like about it?
One, I liked how the elves ate. I thought it was funny when
they ate nothing but sugar.
Yeah, and then they were telling them their sleep schedules and all that stuff. I liked that the Hitler had a hamster.
Oh, the hitman had a hamster,
and he took it everywhere.
The whole time he was driving.
And he went into the store and was trying to buy hamster stuff. She's like, "You don't look like a hamster person to me." He's like, "Oh, I am."
And then she's like, "You look like a
lizard,
yeah,
a lizard person." And he's like, "Nope." He's like, "Too scaly." And they're like, "Are you? Well, you look like a snake person." He's like, "Snakes eat hamsters." And then they walk over.
And then she's like, "I'm usually really good at reading people, and you look like this and that." And then
she's like, "But he's like, but you're not really good at shutting the F up."
Yeah, he's like, "You're just like my mom. You both didn't know how to just shut the F up and listen to me or whatever."
Yeah. And so then she buys him his hamster stuff, and he got a wheel for the hamster. So the hamster's running on a wheel
when he's driving the car, like he's driving down the road,
and he's looking and smiling at his little hamster. I'm like, this is the funniest crap.
So it's like his road trip to North Peak to go find Santa, and he's got this hamster the whole time.
Yeah, and the hamster was so cute.
And I think they took the hamster, right? Like after, because obviously the hitman dies.
Yeah.
And then after he died, then they take the hamster. Santa takes the hamster in.
Yeah. Santa got that hamster.
He did get the hamster.
Cute little hamster.
It was cute.
Cute little hamster.
So Fatman is another one.
I just punched your mic.
Yeah, but you're still trying. Like, hey, don't punch my mic.
I'm so sorry.
Come on, kid. You don't pay for any of this. Crap. There's a knob right there. Tighten that knob up.
Well, wait, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Does it go like that?
Yeah, you should tighten it. Yeah.
It's already tight.
Okay.
Is it?
Oh no, just. I'm gonna get new arms.
That
are better. Yeah. I'm gonna get new better ones. Like this one adjusts right here and right here. And right here.
You lucky guy.
Yeah, because this is a better one. I got to get new ones for those ones.
I just punched them.
Because those are the ones that came with it.
We're gonna say I did that on accident, even though I didn't.
But yeah, so the Fatman, I definitely would recommend it. I think it was don't go into it expecting like the best movie ever, but it's entertaining and it's fun, and I think it was unfortunately it was one of those movies that came out during the pandemic, and I don't think it got a big enough audience.
No, it didn't.
It's not super huge budget, but it still was pretty entertaining.
Happy about.
Which brings us to spoiler alerts
Violent
here,
Night.
in case, another movie kind of similar to Fatman. A little similar.
But the guy is way hotter.
Okay. Oh my God.
Santa Claus from a man bun was everything.
Okay. So Violent Night came out in 2022. It's rated R, 1 hour and 52 minutes. And when a group of mercenaries attacks the estate of a wealthy family, Santa Claus must step in to save the day and Christmas. It was directed by Tommy Wirkola. Writers were Pat Casey and Josh Miller, and it stars David Harbour, who is also known as Hopper from Stranger Things, John Leguizamo, and Beverly D'Angelo. That's like the extent of the. No, there's another lady that's. Who's that other lady? Let me look at the cast real quick. But this is a similar kind of situation to that was Beverly D'Angelo. Okay,
Fatman.
To Fatman, right? Santa is kind of bummed out about Christmas. He's lost the Christmas spirit.
Santa's depressed.
He's depressed. He's an alcoholic. He drinks.
He pees off the side of his sled.
Yeah, he pees off the side of his sled. He gets mad at the reindeer for pooping on the roof. Like he's definitely disillusioned.
He's not magic. He doesn't
with Christmas, and like his magic doesn't always work and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and the comparison they've been making is like Santa Claus mixed with like Die Hard, which is another movie that's depending on which camp you sit in, is a Christmas movie or isn't a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But you know, it's obviously it's violent. It's very funny. There's lots of funny scenes. There's lots of brutal violence. Like people blow up.
The end of the movie was good. I liked the way that he did the sneaking up the chimney.
That was So without giving too much away,
smart.
There was some very creative ways that people died by Santa's hand.
Yes. So are we not going to talk too much about
Not too much. Don't want to give too much about it.
We talked about Avatar: The Way of the Water. Well, we did that at the end, so they can just skip that.
Right, they can skip that. What was your favorite things about this movie besides Hopper? So Santa Claus, what was cool is they gave Santa Claus kind of an origin story too.
So he was a warrior.
He was a Viking warrior,
and he had a hammer, and he was a killer.
What was his hammer's name? Do you remember?
No idea, but I loved his hammer. I love inanimate objects.
The reindeer took off on him and left him because he gets in a fight with someone with a gun and they shoot through the roof and the reindeer are like, fuck this, we're out. And then they fly away and he's like, no, you can't leave me.
And they went to North Pole.
Oh, don't start yawning again. So what were your favorite parts? Like what did you like the most about this movie without giving too much away?
When Santa started going berserk in that shed.
Oh, in the shed when he found the hammer?
And then when Santa showed off his man bun. Listen, that was smart. That was smart.
He did in the shed.
Hottest Santa to ever live.
In the shed with the hammer, there was, again, some creative kills. He takes out a whole hit squad.
I like the end. I like the part where the mom finds out the son stole the money.
Yeah, and she's actually proud of him.
Yeah.
So it's like this really wealthy, cutthroat lady, and her whole family is kind of like scared of her, and they also like kiss up to her. And so like they're even arguing over like who's gonna stand and who's gonna sit and like who's gonna be in front, you know, because they're trying to make the best impression for her. And she's just super like this mean bitchy lady. And
you know what? I like her. I like those kind of ladies that have no filter and they're just totally mean.
Yeah.
Like K-Pat Grandma. I just love her. I just love her. I can hang around with her all the time.
Was there anything that you didn't like?
I didn't like the one daughter with her bratty son and her stupid boyfriend.
Why? They were hilarious.
They were hilarious.
The
but
boyfriend, come on, the boyfriend was so funny. He gives the mom a script for Christmas because he's trying to sell her on a movie that he wants to make.
No, they're hilarious. I'm not saying I hate that they put them in the movie. I just hate their characters.
You hate their characters.
Yeah, they were such if I was a mom, I'd be like,
they were
go
despicable.
away, Shannon. Oh my god.
Yeah, they were despicable.
Yeah, no, when he got shot, I was like,
oh, how about the son? How about the grandson? That's like doing all his Instagram or TikTok posting and stuff, and he's like hashtag blessed.
That irritated me because I find that kind of
because it's so realistic though.
Yeah, but I never. I listen.
I didn't say
did
you.
TikToks,
I didn't say you.
I never did that. I never showed my face much.
It was pretty realistic, but it was pretty funny, and I think John Leguizamo did a good job. I think it definitely had the humor too. So. There was plenty of humor. I like the backstory that they gave to Santa because, like, a lot of times Santa doesn't really have a backstory.
Yeah,
it's just Santa.
He's
always been Santa.
It's a holly
so it's
kind
of cool how they kind of explained that, like, he did a lot of bad stuff before he became Santa.
I think that's why he became Santa.
I think it was funny too. They were like, "How does that work?" And he's like, "I don't know. I don't know how this works."
I think he just got cursed.
It just happens
for his bad behavior. The naughtiest kids get cursed.
Maybe, but it was funny because like. They're like, how did you do that? And he's like, I don't know. It just happens. I still haven't figured it out. And he's been alive for like thousands of years.
Yeah, and Santa got tattoos.
Yeah, he's got tattoos and stuff too because he was a Viking warrior. So it was kind of cool. And then it was funny because the reindeer do come back and they come back with like
his hammer.
Because his bag. Remember they burned his Christmas bag with all the gifts.
So when they burned
that was pretty funny.
When they burned it, he's like, no, you just killed a bunch of children's dreams.
Yeah, he's like, you just burned all the Christmas dreams, and it was funny too.
No children's dreams.
Remember when? Because like, so what's cool too is they make like in jokes to other movies.
Yeah.
So when he's fighting this one dude,
he was pulling through the.
He's pulling
bag.
gifts out of the bag.
Like video game,
Blu-ray, video game. But when he said Blu-ray,
controller.
Yeah, when he said Blu-ray though, he was like Blu-ray of Die Hard, and so it was making fun of. He knew that like they knew this movie was going to get compared to Die Hard, so like they made fun of that in the movie. So that was kind of cool too. That was funny.
You know what? I asked Santa for a 10-foot tall blue alien under
enough
my
of that.
Christmas tree, and guess what I didn't
Spoiler alert. So what would you rate this one?
get? A 9.5.
So we're gonna go 9 out of 10. I'd say 9 too.
I've had a 9.5, 8.5, and then a 9.5.
I would say a 9. And you're only doing half scores just to mess with me.
No, I'm being
you're
honest.
Troll. I think 9. I think this is better than Fatman. I did like this movie
it's
better than Fatman.
I liked it.
Even though it had similar Santas, I did like this one better than Fatman. Because, I mean, Santa gets trashed in this one. Santa's like, he's pretty drunk by the time he shows up there.
Yeah, he was just trash.
You know.
He was peeing on the roof. He was
doing all kinds of goofy stuff.
Yeah.
But I like the humor, and I think it's more rewatchable. This is definitely going to be in the rotation of Christmas movies that we watch from now on.
Yeah, no. So it's gonna be Krampus, that movie. Why do we watch bloody movies on Christmas? We watch like the most horrific Christmas movies. Like they watch Elf on movie.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like Elf.
Or A Christmas Story.
I don't like Elf.
Oh, I should show you Scrooged. Scrooged is kind of like a dark Christmas movie too.
like Elf. I like
Quit yawning.
but I
You're
don't
gonna
want
put people to sleep with your yawns.
yawn. But Elf isn't a movie that I would want to watch. Like if it was on, I'd be like, okay, fine, but
So we're going with a 9 out of 10. All right.
9.5 for me.
Okay, 9 out of 10 sounds good.
No, 9.5.
So go watch it. It's a funny movie without trying to give
9.5.
away too many spoilers. So again, if you wanted to see this movie, just maybe fast forward so you can hear us say that it's like a 9 out of 10 and go watch it. If you didn't fast forward through any of that or we gave away anything, sorry.
Yeah, so sorry.
But we warned you at the very beginning.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. At the same time, I am not.
Next up.
Is this the...
This is Chas's favorite movie out of the whole group. Because it has Ryan Reynolds in it.
No, actually, it's not at all.
So,
this movie was a torture.
This is...
And it was a devil's curse. It took me
Stop.
out.
Let me
It's
introduce
killed
the
me.
movie.
My heart will never be the same.
So this is Spirited.
I'm screwed.
Spirited. It came out in 2022.
Tortured
it's
me.
PG-13. It's 2 hours and
Don't
7
watch
minutes.
it.
It's a musical version
Waste
of
of 2 minutes.
Charles Dickens' story of a miserly misanthrope who is taken on a magical journey. So it's basically a Christmas Carol. I think that's what that story is called.
Too much singing.
It was directed by Sean Anders. It was written by Sean Anders and John Morse, and it stars Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds, and Octavia Spencer. What did you think?
So listen, every 2 seconds of the movie, they were singing, and it got to the point where it was dreadful, and I wanted it to be on my phone. Nonstop. Stop turning me down.
I'm not turning you
You're
down at all.
turning me down. I know
I'm
what you're
not.
doing.
No, I'm not.
It was dreadful.
It's a very expressive medium.
I was trying to get some of the singing for you.
What is all of this?
I can hear it.
I know.
Can they hear it?
Yeah.
They
Just
can
a little
hear.
bit. Yeah, I can only do like little bits so I don't get like in trouble.
Oh,
I was trying to get some of their actual singing because the trailer is playing.
okay.
But anyway,
Listen, if you like movies where they sing a lot, watch it. If you don't, never watch this because every 2 seconds they sang, and it was.
bring it back Christmas. We'll bring it back
Dad, you're gonna get
Christmas.
copyrighted. Stop. Gonna get taken out, Dad.
Right?
But what I'm saying is,
What did you
it.
call him? It was Tiny Tim.
No. Sweet kid, one crutch.
No,
Little Larry.
no, Tiny Tim.
Micro Mike. Super small Steve.
Holy.
I like Ryan Reynolds, and I like what's his name? Chris Farrell.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. Sorry. I like them. They're both good actors. But oh my lord, did this movie annoy me? It just every second it was singing, and it
What
was
do you
like,
have against musicals?
listen, Elsa, like you know, movie Frozen, a lot of singing.
Well, that's
Not
all
every 2
Disney.
seconds.
That's all Disney movies.
I know, but not every 2 seconds.
I agree.
This
There
movie,
was a
it
lot
was-
of singing.
So they sang, and then they would go for like 2 minutes, or maybe five on a good day, and then boom
on a good day,
singing.
the movie's only
singing,
2 hours and 7 minutes long.
Yeah, worst 2 hours of my life. That was a waste. I was like,
Wow.
I would give this movie like a 2.
A 2?
It
Jeez,
killed me.
IMDb is giving it a 6.6.
Oh, that's because most of those ratings are from people that are like, oh my my god, it's such a good Christmas movie.
So
it was so good for my quiz.
I would say because I don't hate musicals, they're not my favorite genre of movie, but like
No, I don't hate musicals.
I've seen ones that have been good. Like if you've never watched Newsies, you need to watch
musicals.
Newsies. Newsies is a good movie.
I hate when in musicals
and it's probably on Disney. If
I
you
don't
get Disney
hate
again.
musicals. Yeah, we should get Disney because Avatar 2
you
is
can
coming
watch-
out of that
you can
crap.
watch
And I'm
Newsies.
gonna watch Avatar 2
Oh my
every
god,
minute
you're
of
gonna
my
break
life.
everything.
I know. But no, what I'm saying is that I don't hate musicals. I hate musicals that sing.
I don't hate musicals. I just hate musicals that have music and singing, which is a
hate-
musical.
I don't hate musicals. I hate musicals that have singing every 2 seconds.
So there's too much singing and dancing. And stuff.
So like you can do singing like 3 times the hour of the thing.
Three times in an hour?
Yeah.
That's your max?
Yeah, they did it.
Draw-
15. They did 15. But they did 15 in the first hour and then 35 in the second hour. I was like, oh my god, you gotta stop.
You
right
should
now.
watch La La Land. You might like La La Land.
Is it a bunch of singing?
It's a musical, but it doesn't have that many songs. But the ending of La La Land was really good, and there's no singing in the end. Anyway, so Spirited, I would say I would give it like a.
I'll give it. I'll give it a 3.
I'll give it a 5.
That's because you're generous.
I'll give it a 5. I'm
have a
generous
heart.
because I'm not like I didn't hate it.
No, it's
it
because
did
you have a
have
heart.
it did have more singing than I was
too
expecting,
wholesome.
but it doesn't like
be
that doesn't
you should be
kill it
Santa
for me.
Claus.
Will Ferrell himself, I'm not the biggest fan of.
No, I like him.
No, he was fine in this. Actually, he was kind of toned down a little bit in this one.
I like him. It's just I'm not a huge fan. I like Ryan Reynolds more.
But I did like the twist in the story. I liked like who Will Ferrell ended up being without giving too much away. Like you should just watch it if you want to know.
Yeah, you just watch it unless you hate
liked
musicals
like
and don't
the
watch
story of who he was, and then I liked the twist at the end. And then how Ryan Reynolds
I like the story
did
of it.
things.
I like the story of it, but
So the story was pretty good.
no, I like the story, but I didn't like the singing. Like there
even
was too
though
much.
even though we've seen A Christmas Carol, like Charles Dickens' The Story, we've seen this over and over again. I mean,
it's a classic.
there was the one with Jim Carrey that was animated. There is the Muppets Christmas Carol. There is Scrooge. There's just a Christmas Carol.
was a decent
There's
movie.
Mickey Mouse's Christmas Carol.
But it
Like
was
there's
just
been so
killing
many
me.
versions of it.
It was a good movie. It just what made me hate it was just the singing, and it was like, stop. Just
and
cut
what
it.
was
Just
funny is
cut
like
it.
Ryan
Just
Reynolds,
cut it off.
like Ryan Reynolds calling out that it was a Christmas Carol, like right off the bat. He was like, "Oh wait, is my ghost of like Christmas past gonna show up and stuff?"
You
like
know his wife gave him crap about that.
it was pretty funny.
How
It
much
was
you want to
pretty
bet Ryan Reynolds' wife gave him
Maybe
crap
about all the
that?
singing and
About the
dancing?
movie?
Sure.
That's some funny crap.
So, I mean, it's one if you want to see a new take on it and you love musicals and
Yeah.
you want to see Ryan Reynolds and Octavia Spencer and Will Ferrell sing and
Yeah.
dance. By all means, go watch it. Will I watch it again?
No.
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 I'm not going to seek it
I'm
out.
gonna avoid that movie. I'm
like,
avoiding it.
if it was on and there was nothing else on,
No,
then maybe
if-
I would watch
listen,
it.
if it was
Like-
on,
like, put it
I'd
this
rather
way.
watch anything else.
We don't have cable. We just stream everything. So the chances of me just like flipping through channels and finding this on
Yeah.
is never going to happen.
Oh,
So
no.
I will probably never watch this
That's a
movie.
1 in a 1,000
The
chance.
only way I would watch this movie is if I was at someone else's house and they put it on.
Listen, if I was at someone else's house and they put it on, I would go outside of that house.
Wow, you just hate those movies.
No, I don't mind, Chris. I don't mind singing movies. I've watched many singing movies in my little lifespan, okay? But that one was too much. It was funny watching Ryan Reynolds dance because I'm like, how are you guys dancing? You guys are old. Anyway, but it was like, dang, can you not sing for 2 seconds? Because every second they would sing, and they even sang
But like,
without singing.
we're getting on the elevator, singing a song.
Yeah,
It's Christmas on
it's
the
like,
elevator.
We're on an elevator. We're going up somewhere high.
Okay.
It's Christmas time. It's like, shut up.
All right.
Just cut it. Cut it.
You know,
Stop
you
it.
know what Chastity would say if this movie was on? If she walked into a room and this movie was playing, Chastity would be like, "Nope."
No. Yeah, nope. Like the next movie. I
Yes,
knew
that's
what you were doing. I know what you're doing.
Did you like that segue?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
transition?
nice,
So the
Dan.
next movie we're going to talk about, and this one is not Christmas themed, but we just happened to watch it
Actually,
recently.
I like this movie.
Was Nope. This was also a 2022 movie. It's rated
Mm-hmm.
R, 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's about the residents of a lonely gulch in inland California bear witness to an uncanny and chilling discovery. That is not a very detailed description. It was directed and written by Jordan Peele. It stars Daniel, I don't know how to say his last name, Kaluuya, Kiki Palmer, and Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead. I've liked Jordan Peele's other movies. I even went out and I watched Candyman, the new version of Candyman 2, which was pretty good too. I really like the new Candyman because it said a lot. And so this movie, going into it, I definitely fell.
I didn't have high hopes.
Why not?
I don't know. It's just by the trailer, it seemed like just a movie they just wanted to throw out. Like they just wanted to throw out a movie. But when I went into it, like once I started watching it and started getting into depth, I got interested because it was a different concept than I've seen before. Like I never seen an alien spaceship actually the alien. I was like, there we go.
So, and that was what.
And the horses were smart, and I was like, yeah.
And that was kind of like what was interesting about it, right? Like it starts off, you think it's like a like alien abduction kind of movie, and it turns into more of like a creature movie.
Yeah.
It goes from being like
you think there's aliens in a ship to the ship actually
is
being
the alien, right? So
and
like
that made me more interested in it. That's
it
why
goes
I
from
like
like
this.
Independence Days to Jaws. Like it turns from Independence Day where it's like, oh man, it's probably aliens gonna take over the world, and it turns into more like Jaws. Like this one alien hunting these people down on this property, but itself is the alien.
Yeah, but what I liked about it is like the whole thing, like how they set it out, like how they trapped it and how they were going to get it on camera and all this crap.
How they learned, how they were able to tell where it was.
Yes, and how like they knew if you looked at it, it would go after you, and it's all that, which made me more interested in how it wanted animals. It wanted the meat, and it would spit out anything metal.
Well,
anything
it was
didn't
eating,
like.
right? Yeah.
It was eating when it took up. And then the chimpanzee added in was interesting because, I know about the real chimpanzee case where it ripped off the lady's face. I know about that case. That was interesting. I watched the phone call for that.
And it was weird. Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
I know, but what I'm saying is I watched, I watched a YouTube video on that 911 phone call.
I've watched it.
And that crap was like...
It was nuts. But regardless of real life chimpanzees ripping off people's faces.
Yeah. I wonder if she's still alive.
Like that opening, at first it was like, what does this even have to do with the movie?
What's it got to do with an alien?
Because it drastically shifts tones.
Yeah.
Like it goes from that opening and drastically shifts tones over to
confusing.
like this horse farmer.
Yeah, it was
and like
with
these,
his dad on a horse.
Right.
But then the dad got wiped out by a penny. But no, his thing was a quarter.
It was a quarter.
Imagine dying from a quarter. Listen, if I die from a quarter, I'd be up in heaven like, dang, a quarter took me
But it was
out.
a quarter spit out by an alien.
I know, but
way up in the sky above you.
but like before he knew it was an alien, just imagine, dang, I got taken out by a quarter, God.
Now, did you think about this? Right? Did you think about this? When the dad died, you heard screams and then all that stuff dropped. So did the Asian guy feed it crowds of people before?
That's interesting.
Where did that come from?
Maybe it did. Or maybe
Because
there was
remember,
something else there.
it ate that whole crowd of people.
Because wasn't that like years or months before?
No, it was like,
And like
it was like 4 months later.
Yeah,
Right,
so
so
maybe
the dad died, and then like 4 months
maybe
later
that
was when
cowboy
all
guy, that one Asian guy,
Right.
maybe he took over and was doing it the same. Because maybe that was someone else that did that, and he just took over.
I don't know,
But
because
that could be the Asian guy that was feeding.
well, because the Asian guy was trying to turn it into an attraction, and he was trying to tame it.
He was trying to feed it horses because it kept eating the farmer guy's horses.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was trying to feed it horses because it ate Ghost and then what was that? Lucky.
Lucky.
That was the one lucky horse.
And the Asian guy was trying to turn it into an attraction for his.
So he
So the Asian guy was a little kid on the show
with the monkey,
where the chimpanzee,
Damn, he was about to give
where the
that monkey a fist
chimpanzee
bump.
kills
everyone
but him, pretty much.
Yes, but the chimpanzee noticed him because the kid wasn't looking at
He was looking at that shoe that
there
was
was a
balancing.
shoe that was balancing up.
So he didn't look at the
So,
chimpanzee in the
and
eye.
that's when the kid was talking about, which gave
So
that
it
guy
didn't-
the idea.
it didn't feel threatening.
Because the chimpanzee, everyone was looking at the chimpanzee. So
Right.
the chimpanzee saw that he wasn't and was
He
nice.
was going to give him a fist bump.
and
Because it didn't feel threatened by him.
Yeah, and because he wasn't looking at him.
But so like that goes back to that guy trying to tame that, right? Like he didn't learn the lesson that you can't totally tame wild animals. And he was trying to tame this alien that's gobbling up things. And he was trying to turn it into
And he
an
was
attraction.
looking it in the eye. Everyone
And-
was looking
and
it
what
in the
happened?
eye. So they
He-
all ate it, and the horse wasn't. That horse was like,
Just
I'm
like the
keeping it
creators
down.
of the show, he ended up dying because he thought he could tame this wild animal
Mm-hmm.
and make it basically perform for his crowds.
Yeah, see, and guess what happened to him? Even the girl that got her face ripped off that lived, she got screwed.
What did you? She keeps going back to the real life story.
No, the girl that in the show that got.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, the girl did get her face.
Kind of like the lady in real life.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm right. Get out of here. And her wheelchair was up on the roof.
It was up on the roof.
Yeah.
The guy was like, you got a wheelchair up on your
No,
roof.
he's like, you went based off what I'm seeing by that wheelchair up on your roof. I think what you're telling is
So
true.
it was definitely a really interesting movie. I thought all of the actors did a really good job.
No, they did a good
I
job.
thought the brother did a really good job of kind of just like trying to be
Okay.
serious and deal with stuff.
Yeah, he held
the
a
sister
cold face.
was really good at being like the over the top,
Yeah.
like trying to be
Brother-
a hustler.
Yeah,
like,
brother held a face
like
cold.
she showed up at this job that they were doing because
Cold
they
face.
provide like horses for movies, and she shows up and she's got like this whole spiel, and then she's like, so yeah, book us for all your horse needs, and I'm also a writer and a producer, and I drive motorcycles and I do stunts. Like she
what
was
gave-
really trying to
what
hustle
gave-
herself.
What gave the guy idea of where the alien only reacts when you see him is because that one guy put that mirror in the horse's face on the set, and the horse saw and reacted.
reacted.
Which that horse kick was such a fake kick. You can tell someone commanded the horse to
Okay.
do it.
Chastity has extensive knowledge of horses, so she immediately was like, that was a fake
That
kick.
was, you can tell
that
someone
was totally a
commanded it.
pre-staged kick. That was not an impromptu
Well,
where
you
the
can
horse
tell the
really
horse
did
was
it.
told to do that
Right.
based off how it
Well,
looked.
sure.
The horse was like,
Sure.
It wasn't spooked after. I just did it and just stood there.
But it was cool, and I liked how it kind of kept it grounded. It wasn't like they were like getting the news attention. They were like, we need to get footage of this thing ourselves. Like, let's get the Oprah shot. They kept
Because
saying.
no, they wanted to make the money.
Right, they wanted to make the money,
But they
yes,
also
because
wanted
the
to see it.
farm was kind of failing because their dad was like this really good horse rancher trainer for
died
movies,
from
and
the
he
corner. He
died,
got taken
and now
out.
the son had to take over, and the sister was more worried about. She even said at one point, he's like, "This is the job," and she goes, "This is your job. This is my side thing. Like this isn't my main thing. This is my side thing." So
Yeah.
like he was just trying to hold it together. It was cool how they learned from it. They put out a fake horse statue that had ribbon,
Because
and,
it wanted
and it
to eat the
clearly pissed it
horses.
off.
And yeah, it made it mad because it doesn't like the ribbon.
Well, because it got stuck inside it. Remember, like the
Yeah.
ribbon was hanging out of the cloud and stuff.
Yeah, but so they set up a trap where, because whenever it would come, the electronics would turn off and
Right.
wouldn't work. So they set up a bunch of those floaty arm guys.
That you see out in front of stores that
yeah,
are like,
car shops.
yeah, the
So
big,
they set up
the
a
big
bunch of them
wheelie man. Yeah.
so they can tell where it is.
Right.
If
It was
'cause
smart.
It was one cloud that never moved.
And then the famous camera guy, he made cameras.
That
He took current
don't-
day cameras and
Yeah,
he turned them
when
into
he came
hand
out-
crank ones.
When he came out, the lady was like, "See, I knew this mother effer was gonna come out with another electric camera."
Yup,
It
yeah,
was so
because
funny.
because all the the electronics would die, and so he
brought
brought like
that
a
so it
4K
wouldn't
camera,
die.
but he made it into a crank one. He hand built it,
Yeah.
so he could film and not have to worry about the
And
electronics.
he
dying.
brought a different camera so he can go up inside
yeah,
and
and
try
then he brought
and
it,
get,
yeah,
and try and get a video, but it just destroyed it and spat it out like it was
right.
nothing.
Well, and ate him too.
But it was funny because a news guy came on a motorcycle.
Oh, that was pretty
and
funny.
so he drove towards it. Was driving
What
towards
did the
it.
guy say? He goes, "What happens when someone's driving an electric motorcycle 60
Yeah, so
miles an
the-
hour into an
the guy with
electromagnetic
the camera.
bubble?"
The camera's like, what happens to a guy that's driving 65 miles per hour into a
like
non-electric
a-
bubble? And then as soon as he hit the bubble, the thing went out and he went, ah!
But he was like,
And he flew.
like
and
he made this
flew,
funny noise and he went
flopped
flying.
around.
Yeah.
And the one guy was on the horse and had the horse blindfolded.
Yup.
Not blindfolded, but had a fly
But,
mask
yeah,
on so,
so
the
it
alien
couldn't
couldn't
see
tell.
its eyes. Yep.
Couldn't tell if the horse was looking at it. And he had ribbons on the back of the horse's thing so the horse wouldn't die. He would deploy it if it got near, because that thing was like, I ain't messing with the ribbons.
Now it was cool watching the alien because it like the way it moved, it was like super quiet. Right, and then the way it ate, it created like that tornado dust thing storm that like sucked stuff up into its hole. But it was really neat because it like because it was so quiet and it would like fly around up in the clouds. It was like a shark circling its prey and moving around.
Yeah,
where
it
you
would
couldn't see
circle around before it went in, like a hawk or a shark.
Right.
It would
It was
circle
really
its
neat.
prey before it went in.
And then in the end, like you were just saying, it like revealed its final form,
And it
which
looked
was
like
way crazier.
It looked like it was cloth.
It was kind of like the way I thought about it was like a space jellyfish.
Yeah, but it looked like cloth.
Right.
And
did.
it was there, and it had a crazy thing that would distract it to make you want to look at it more.
Yeah, and that's what it was, right? It was
trying
moving to try to get you to focus on it.
The eye was in the middle of it, but it was trying to get you to focus on it, so it could get you to look at it and be like,
Right, and
yeah,
then
I'm
it'd be
going to
like,
suck
yeah, I'm
you
gonna
up
get you.
now.
Right.
Because you looked at me. It was trying to, but the guy knew not to, so he was looking down, walking the horse, distracting it for he looked at it to distract it for his sister to get away.
And then the sister made it to the old west town where everyone disappeared and died from, and she was able to get a picture of it eventually.
Yeah, she was in a well. There's a well that takes pictures of you above it, and
When
she
you
got a
look into
picture.
it, yeah, it's like a wishing well. And
But
you
the
look into it, it
horse,
takes your picture.
lucky, when everyone got sucked up at that festival thing, horse stayed in that box.
Well, because he was in that box.
It was a metal box. That horse knew I ain't gonna get sucked up.
Yeah.
He opened up the box and started trying to scare the horse out. Horse said, "Nah,
Nope.
I'm staying in here. You gonna die." And then everyone started staring at it, which made it want to eat them more.
Yeah,
And like you said, it was like trying to tame wild animals.
Right, and it totally.
I
ate
think
everybody.
idiots I still think people that would own like a wild animal, like as a pet, like a chimpanzee or like that, like a squirrel. I can understand that. I want a pet skunk.
Where did this come from? I want a skunk.
I want a raccoon,
Get outta
skunk, or
here.
a possum.
So what would
Fox.
you
Wolf
have
dog.
rated Nope?
Actually, I give this 8.
I was gonna say 8 too.
You know what? It wasn't like amazing, like it blew me out of the water, blasted my butt out the water. No,
It had plenty of funny moments, and it felt kind of realistic, right?
Yes.
So like when he goes in the barn, and the alien head peeks out. Right off the bat, he's like, "Nope," and he starts getting away.
Yeah.
and then he turns around and he gets his camera out, and then like the head peeks by, and then he's like backing up, and then he turns and that one's right there, and he socked it right in the face.
yeah, because that's realistic to me. When he said nope and he started walking
as soon
away,
as he saw an alien, he wasn't like, "Oh, what is that? Let me
he
go
didn't,
investigate."
He didn't walk
was
towards it.
like,
He said nope, and he walked away.
And he started walking
That's
away.
what I liked about it too, because I was like, oh my god, finally someone did something a little bit realistic.
Yeah.
like he saw it and he said nope, and he started walking away, but he kept his eyes on it so that he could see it. But then he started trying to film it, and he kept backing up even when he was trying to film it. And then
Yeah.
as soon as he saw the other one, he socked it.
I mean, he socked it right in
Yeah,
the face,
which
and
was
then it turned
something
out
we
to be
would do.
kids in masks
Yeah, trying to
trying to
take
get
back
that
their
statue.
Yeah,
But the
because they stole, because the lady
alien
stole
ate
it.
But
yeah.
the alien ate the statue.
Alienated it because it looked like that ghost horse, the horse that survived the key in his butt. Mm-hmm. That's funny. Well, hip.
But it was I would definitely say an 8 too.
Yeah.
It wasn't the most amazing.
Yeah, no,
I
it
definitely
didn't.
think that in we haven't gotten to the other ones. I don't think you saw Us with us, with me and Mom. Us. Yeah, remember I played the trailer for it with
With
the people in the red
scissor?
suits.
I've
and the
seen
scissors.
Us.
Oh, you saw that one?
Yeah, I've
And then
seen
did you
Us.
watch Get Out with us? Because
don't
I have
think
Get
so.
Out. That's going to be in our channel.
I've seen Us. That Us scared the crap out of me.
So, and it's the same director made Get Out, Us, and this movie.
Us scared me.
And I think out of the 3, this one was the least scary. And I think the messaging was still good.
It wasn't scary. I liked the concept of it.
Right.
And
So did
the
I.
way they made the alien
was entertaining.
not something that was inside a ship. They made the ship the alien.
And it was
And I like the way that they as a predator,
Right.
And how it
For
like
sure.
the monkey. They added the monkey in
Right.
to show the
it
characteristics of a
turned
wild
into
animal. To show
into an
that it's
animal being a threat kind
yeah,
of movie,
like it's hungry.
like a creature movie.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I want to get fed, sucker.
Yeah.
Dinner bell.
So I liked it.
No, it was good. I enjoyed
and I
it.
would definitely watch it again. And I would say, it's worth at least one watch, but I would watch it again. Like,
I would watch it again.
If I was like, you know what, let's go watch this again, because I would definitely watch Get Out, and I would definitely watch Us again.
Yeah, I'd watch.
I think Us I don't own though, so
You know
we're
what?
gonna have to buy
seen-
Us.
I've seen people on TikTok do like what horror movies are survive, and one person said Us, and they're like 0 out of 10. I ain't surviving this crap. And they're like, yeah. Let's see. One person like, I just end it all if I was in
Right.
Us, because like. I'd be tripping. Woo!
Yeah.
Us was scary, and I remember watching it.
freaky
I
movie.
don't know where we watched it. Was
we
it
watched
in-
it at
was
the
it-
last house.
Was it the last house? Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it was in a theater.
No.
But that
No, it
movie
was not in the
scared
theater.
me,
We
and
watched it
I
at
was
home.
like,
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. So that is it for the show. That was an hour. We squeezed all those movies in. What would you say, Chastity, out of all the movies that we talked about, was your favorite one? Because there was no 10 out of 10, right? There was a couple that were the same score. So what was your favorite
8.5.
movie out of this batch?
God, Krampus and
Violent Night.
Yeah.
That's your tie.
I'm trying to think what one wins because Violent Night got that hot Santa, and Krampus just got my Krampus. You know, I'm just mad at that kid. Like I would have chose life. I'm still mad at him for that. Like, how stupid are you? You gave me a second chance.
He cared about his family.
Yeah, but his family wanted him to live on, besides his cousins. But I'm
His mom did.
listen. I'm gonna be petty. Bye, bye, cousins. Guess who eats the last deer?
Okay. Anyway, what would you say your favorite movie is out of these?
I would say Violent Night.
I was gonna go Krampus.
I was gonna go Krampus too.
Yeah,
But-
Krampus just because of like the tradition that we have with it already.
I'll go Krampus.
Just because of
I like
the
Violent Night.
tradition that we've already had
But
with it.
Krampus, yeah.
Yeah.
Krampus is just Krampus. I mean, if I met Krampus in real life, I'd be like,
Right.
go away, please. I believe. I don't believe in
All right.
Santa, but I believe in real life.
Well, if you liked what you heard and you like what we're doing, please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. Leave us some reviews. I know that it falls under the Get Up show, but please leave reviews,
Yes.
especially if you want to call out just reviews for the Movie Challenge podcast.
Are you ever gonna watch the new Little Mermaid? I hope not.
What, the live action one?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
new one.
we will.
Really? I don't want to.
Why?
I don't even want to watch the old one.
Why?
I always hated Little Mermaid.
Under the sea, under
I
the
like
sea.
the songs,
Under the
but the
sea,
first
under
Little
the sea.
Mermaid-
I like the song, but I don't like musicals. Life's always better
No,
down
Under the
when
Sea
it's
was
wet,
the
so
song.
take it
Maybe
from
the
me.
maybe the new one's better, but the old one I
Probably
hated.
is.
I hated the old one. Maybe the new one's better.
Oh, don't be a turd. But that is it for us. Thanks again for listening to us on the Get Up Presents the Movie Challenge podcast. As always, my host Chastity,
Me. You just said my name.
my host,
Chastity. I'm the main character, not Ashley. You know what I just thought?
And
I thought of another
you know
murder
what's
case.
you know what's funny? Well, let's talk about this off the
Okay.
podcast. But what is interesting that you said I'm the main character is I just read an article today, and there is main character syndrome now. It's actually like a thing, main character syndrome.
I don't think I'm the main character. Because you know what I think about a lot is that when people say, this is my life, it's like, no, it's not. This is a bunch of other people's lives, too. It's all different people's lives. What are you doing?
I was faking turning you down.
Because what I was thinking is that when people say, well, this is my life, it's like, yeah, but it's that random guy down the street's life, too, because they all have their own mind.
We
It's
could all
all
just
their
be in the
life.
Matrix. It's just a big computer program.
Could be.
But anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Movie Challenge podcast, and we will catch you next time.